What's up, world? Dyer here. Today, I want to talk about spark plug sockets. I think it's oftentimes a thing overlooked. What do we usually get the cheapo set like this and call it a day. Um, just kind of talk about it real quick. I think a lot of people start maybe with the rubber inserts, or maybe you already started with the magnetic. I will say my first set of plugs was the rubber insert plugs, and man, I really hated those. So I switched to the magnetic, and I thought they were pretty good until today when I had this failure. And I'm not going to call it the brand or anything like that because I think this could happen to a lot of spark plugs. But I'll try to show what happened here. I don't know if that's coming through. Oh yeah, you can see it. There is a chip there in part of this magnet insert. Chip, chunk of metal. Okay. Why is that scary? Well, it was very scary to me because I didn't know where that chunk of metal went. And if that chunk of metal goes into your into your valve, into your cylinder, and you you didn't notice it, man, you're gonna have a bad day. That is gonna blow your engine. So this is a recent experience I've had, and it inspired me to ditch these spark plugs and get some better quality ones. Because I think this spark plug cost me, I don't know, I can't remember. I'll find out the price later, and I'll put it in the description. But it was, let's say it was like 20-30 bucks. 20-30 bucks versus like whatever this set costs, like maybe 15 or something, I don't know. Versus replacing a brand new engine. Yeah, I think I know what I'm going to go with. So it put me down this rabbit hole. So just for a frame of reference, these are all going to be 14 millimeter 12-point sockets because that's what I needed. And so, first we have the plug that failed me. It's magnetic. And as you can see, this kind of all happens to the El Cheapos for me. Is they get kind of, when you start to insert the plug, they get stuck right here, and that can be a problem. And I'll talk about that later. So the first socket I got two from two different brands because I just wanted to see what each one was about. Now this one has a spring retention, as they call it. And if you look in there, hope you guys can see that. I mean, I can see it, yeah. So, it's got these little, like, metal clips here. And the idea is when you insert your spark plug, okay, well, that would help if I put it in the right way. When you insert your spark plug, man, they grip tight, okay? It grips it, and it ain't going anywhere. I don't like this, though, because it's, rubbing against this ceramic, and I just don't like the thought of it rubbing so hard against this porcelain, basically, It's just, I don't like it. It's very tight. I think it's too tight. Like, this thing is so hard to insert on here. I will say once it snaps in, it snaps in. But I've even had this one do this wonkiness to me, okay? And the reason why that's bad, okay, if you're not paying attention, let's say you've already got the spark plugs in the car, okay, and you're doing your final torque, which you should absolutely torque to spec your spark plugs. If you're not, well, you are an idiot. I mean, honestly. But look, the problem is sometimes you can feel, especially when this thing has such tight tension, it can feel like it's seated, like right there. It feels like it's seated, and you'll go to be torquing, and it's just like, man, this ain't right. Well, this time it's turning, but sometimes it's like just barely on there to the point where it's not really turning, but you feel like you're turning it. And point being, this engagement is going to cause stripping, okay? Because your socket is not fully engaged. It's just a little tiny bit on all those points, and that's going to strip it out. And I do not like that. And even this name brand Gedore does it. I mean, overall, the socket is beautifully made. It's just the satin finish here. Satin finish on like a real premium socket looks much better than like El Cheapo satin finish products. I will say that. And like the knurling, I love the knurling. I don't know. I'm not sure why it has a giant hole here. That seems to be a German socket thing. If somebody knows, let me know. I do not like how strong the spring retention is. It's too strong in my opinion. Maybe I'll try to like flatten them out with a screwdriver or something, see if that makes it better. But then let's move on to the next socket, because this is really the one I wanted to talk about, and that is the Koken. And guys, I gotta say, if you want to get the best socket for spark plugs in the world, it's got to be the Koken. Now, Koken, I will say, this is a Koken Zeal edition. They make like regular spark plug sockets as well, but the magnetic ones they only make in the Zeal series. And I want to say this is true. It may not be, but I believe they only make 14 and 16 mil magnetic in the Zeal lineup. I don't know why, but it worked out for me. They also make spring retention, which I'm assuming is going to work similar to how this Gedore works. And they make more spring retention sockets than they do magnetic. And they make spring retention in Zeal and non-Zeal series sockets. So I might check those out at a later date and see how they are and see how they compare. But let's get to the meat and potatoes here, okay? So why is this the nicest socket in the world? I mean, look at this magnetism. It's okay. So it's not like super, look how, dude, I can't even, I hope that's like translating on camera. That slides so smoothly. The magnet is just the right tension, okay? It's not, the problem with a lot of these cheapo magnetic sockets is this, okay? The magnet, if I can even get it to line up. Now this socket's just trash, dude. Oh my God, I got stuck on that too. You know what? Here's the problem. This magnetic ring is too tight for this socket, and it rubs, and it causes all kind of issue. Let me get another one. Hold on. Cue the Jeopardy music. Okay, here's another one, for example. I got a lot of these 14 mils. Okay, so this one is, you can see here's the magnet engagement. This one's actually pretty good. Okay, but you see how it just kind of, the problem is it can still have that. This one's smooth. This is a bad example. This is actually one of the better ones I've had. ABN, believe it or not. Yeah, they like do no warranty, but honestly, all their ABN stuff, there's no warranty, but it's always been like really solid. It's weird, man. They're kind of one of the better brands on Amazon. Auto body now. Okay, so here we go. Let's try this guy. So this is an Aries. Yeah, see, none of these, they all have this point where they kind of like, they get sticky. And sometimes they do it, sometimes they don't. They get sticky. So what's happening? Why are they getting sticky? Well, because it has to do with broaching. You see all these teeth, they could be, in theory, they could be perfectly flat, but on pretty much every socket, they are not. They're cut in at a slant a little bit. There's a little bit of a ramp. And the problem is how deep that ramp is. When the ramp is shallow, like on this Koken, it actually makes for a really good seating of the socket, because this also has a broaching on it. It's got that little ramp too. So when, of course, when you got two of these ramps combining, yeah, they just don't intersect that well. If it's more flat, okay, it's gonna just line up better. That's basically what's happening. I hope I explained that well, but man, I cannot, it's probably not coming in on camera, but this thing just glides in effortlessly every time, and it locks in perfectly. So if you need to torque the socket down, when you put this bad boy in there, inside the engine, and it snaps it, you're there. You're there. You're not ever going to run into this awkward situation. It's like, oh, am I halfway on it or not? I mean, I can put torque on it, but dude, this is not good, especially for a spark plug socket, to be torquing it in this state. which happens a lot. So I hope I got the point across. These have to be the nicest spark plug sockets on the planet. So listen, I highly recommend, if you're like a dealership tech and you work at a dealership, get the specific sockets for your manufacturer from Koken. If you're a DIY guy, get the specific sockets for your make and model car. But man, get these sockets. These sockets from Koken are absolutely amazing. And on that note, I'm out. Thank you. Take care, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate everything. Have an awesome day. Goodbye.